Welcome everyone back to Pommy and Oz. Hope we're all doing really well. If you're new around here, make sure you check out the website. We've got some brand new merch just dropped, so if you want to support the channel, you can do that. And a staggering 47.8% of you are not subscribed. And all you've got to do is scroll down to the bottom of this video, click that subscribe button, and help a Pom out. We're on our road to 10k. So thank you for enjoying the content. And if you are coming back to these videos, make sure you subscribe and turn that notification bell on. We do a minimum of 3 times a week, some live streams in between that. So you get about 5 or 6 videos a week. And I'm feeling generous today. We've got an impromptu one because we've got a new mic. So hopefully we sound crystal clear and my dulcet tones are coming across. We've got a live stream as well, members only. We're going to finalize that, but we're looking at probably next weekend, I think, for that. We're going to give away some Pommy and Oz merchandise. So stay tuned to that. If you want to become a member, link is in the description to do that. And it costs about a cup of coffee a month. So it does help us out, putting all the effort we do into the videos, and we're a nice little community. And what we're doing today is something incredibly exciting. We've never done one of these. A few of you asked me to do it, and these are probably the videos and the articles as a football nerd, if you will, I get annoyed with. So I'm going to annoy someone with this. I do apologize in advance, but these are the power rankings, the POM rankings, we'll call them. And we're starting off in 18th. I was a bit of a fanboy at these at the start of the year, and I said that they'll probably get 3 or 4 wins before the bye and jump teams. They got one against North, which, well played to Hawthorn. Obviously no LDU, so it's a tough one. Obviously, they haven't really been playing good football, have they, of late? But I don't think things are as bad as people say. I think people have really jumped on the bandwagon here and gone a little bit kooky. Okay, they've jettisoned a list. They've got missing key structural pillars. Mitch Lewis makes a whole world of difference when you're playing Cozzy there. Cozzy isn't your primary forward. But Sam Mitchell is doing what Sam Mitchell does. It was an impressive performance of the weekend. I don't want to hear, oh, but Pom, they didn't have LDU. You beat what's in front of you. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, and Hawthorn did. So, but they are 18th in my rankings. They are probably on form. I don't like saying the worst. They're the poorest team in the AFL. Coming in second last with the team that I had 18th. And I still haven't seen much to change it. Obviously, probably the first 3 rounds say Hawthorn are worse, but that is West Coast. Okay, they beat, okay, they've got 1 win this year. Fair enough. All right. Okay. But the injuries now as well have really added to that for me. And I think that this is a big wait and see. I think that there is some big problems at the Eagles. I look at them. I don't have much faith in them. They're the second worst side. And I'm quite happy with that because I said they were. One that I got wrong, Port Adelaide. I thought they were going to threaten for the 8. I bought into the hype. I'm sorry. I'm human. I was wrong catastrophically. I am sorry to any Port fans I gave false hope. And I am sorry to the AFL community that I bought into it. Because apart from that Brisbane game, which Brisbane are in their own world of hurt, this weekend, the showdown showed me something. And that was they lack heart and desire. And they remind me a little bit of, you know, when I was critical of Essendon. And even though I'm a Carlton fan channel, I don't often criticise clubs just purely out of spite. I try and be impartial with hatred. They had no heart and no desire. And I think that's always a worry. I think it is a talented list. Simply should be doing better. Hashtag Hinkley out, I'm afraid. Then we go to my next team. We're here. We're at 15th. Gold Coast Suns. Okay, they beat Geelong. At the moment, I could probably find you 21 Poms at random to beat Geelong. It doesn't count. Now, are Geelong in a mess? I don't think they are. We'll get to Geelong. I think when you have massive key injuries in game, particularly to key defenders, it doesn't really help the cause. I think Gold Coast did well, though. They beat them. But I still query them against teams that are full strength that will play them. I think, okay, it was a good run. It was a good game. They did what they had to do. I don't think they'll threaten the 8, though. I really don't. And is it Dewey? I just think that whole internals of that club he's cooked. They should be better than they are, and I don't think it's Dew's fault. In at 14th, we've got the Crows. They had a resounding win against Port Adelaide, and I don't mind Adelaide. I know a lot of people say, they're enough inside. I think that they're rigid. I like what Nix has done. I think they're rigid. They run hard both ways. I think they've got a lot of talent on their list, and I think that they are probably the best of the next at sometimes. I think that they are probably in that 11th to 12th range, and I think at the end of the season that they will probably be just outside the 8. 13th, North Melbourne. What an incredible start. What an incredible start for North Melbourne. Who would have thought that they would be top 10 at the start of the season? Clarkson is a genius. LDU out, you saw a different side to North Melbourne, obviously. I like what they're doing. You know, the thing with Clarkson is we'll come on to St Kilda as well. They've done the basics well, and at the end of the day, that's all you can take. Do I think they'll challenge for the 8? No. But I think they won't be as bad as some people see. And I think that you're really starting to see the better, particularly out of their players who are probably that tier below elite. Clarkson's brought it out of them. In at 12 is GWS. GWS, I thought, see Adelaide. I don't think they're an 8 side, but one thing I saw with Kingsley, and I feel like Richmond and Carlton have been a little bit stiffed in the media by the opposition they've had. GWS did really well. They rotated their wings really well. They got them to pinch. They made it ugly for Carlton. They made it hard. And I think that's what you look at GWS this year in the games they've played. That mammoth game in round 1, round 2, they ran out a bit of legs. Kingsley's rigged them up. And the opposite of Port, they are a tough team to break down at the contest. If they can keep Kelly and Whitfield fit throughout the year, they'll beat more teams than they'll lose to. I don't think they're a bad side. I think a lot of people have seen the first 2 rounds, particularly after that sweltering hot first round, to play the second one in the high intensity and gone, oh, GWS are pants. They're definitely bottom 6 for mine, but I think there's way too much experience in the engine room for them to get run over. So I think they're right mid-table. In at 11 is Fremantle. They got the Perth Showdown victory. I still query this, and I think they may be a little bit too high. They could be running at the Port. I look at them and they don't score enough goals. And I thought, in all honesty, West Coast were the better side until the injuries. I could be wrong, but I again think they're just mediocre. They're mid-table, and I'm not too sure on JL. I think they need to be a bit more attacking. In at 10, Essendon. This is always tough because for some reason I find it harder to talk nicely about Essendon than I do Collingwood. I'm going to be honest. And shout out to one of my mates, Dylan. He's a massive bomber. And Geordie, 2 massive bombers and mates of mine. I like what they've done. I think Brad Scott has just rigged them up. They've got a bit of heart. They've got a bit of intensity. And I'm a firm believer that spine and heart gets you so far. I don't think it's an under-talented list. I think it's a very talented list. And I think they're right in. I think by the end of the season, they'll be threatening the 8. And they're going to be one of them teams, a bit like Carlton and the Doggies last year. Carlton by stupidity, Dogs by gratuitous luck, who will be in and around the 8. And I reckon these will be one of them sides that when we come to round 22, round 23, they're one of the results we're looking at that could dictate the 8. Now, in at 9, and I find this stiff because I don't think they're 9th. And I know, you know me, you've watched me for a long time. I'm not one who goes with the media. Collingwood, no one, everyone said they'd be at the 8. I said I think they'll be better. Geelong, and now every media journalist is saying they're tanking, they're cooked. Behave. Good teams don't go shit overnight. Right? First game, SDK, Tom Stewart. Do you know what I mean? Second game, do you know what I mean? They were going all right. Then they had injuries against us. SDK didn't look right. Zach Tui looked like he thought he saw 3 of Cripps. They were cooked. Injuries-wise. Round 3, SDK goes down again. I think he's been injured since round 1. Zach Tui, he had, 2 contested possessions. Something's not right in a fitness regime there, and I think they're trying to false it. Tom Stewart was sensational last week, but he didn't look his usual free-flowing self, and he was easily their best on. Tom Hawkins doesn't quite look right. If you think Geelong are finishing outside the 8, give your head a wobble. Because I'll tell you what's going to happen now. Some team in the top 6 at the moment is going to go and face this mob. The fans are going to get a little bit up and about, go, oh, we'll batter them. and Geelong will run 10 goals unanswered and absolutely decimate you. They are a 0-3 side. They're 9th purely on form, but then the last 15 years has propped them up a bit higher. I felt dirty doing this. The Doggies are probably up there purely because of their one win. But in my opinion, I think that they're probably just below Essendon. It was a good win against Brisbane. We talked about it in the preview, the tips. I tipped them. I was like, it's the kind of game they'll win. But I just think Brisbane are dire at the moment. And I think Doggies just showed grit and determination. I question McRae playing in the forward line. I question a lot of things. I think they are one of the 8 sides. But I think the sides we've just talked about, 2 of them, your Essendons and co like that, will be looking at these for that 8th spot. And for me, it's a wait and see for the rest of the year with the Dogs. But at the moment, they're 8th. Just above them because of what they did to Melbourne, who were injured. Brisbane. I look at this side, and I looked at them this week against the Dogs. And again, the question marks are there for me. You make it tough. You take away the easy ball. You lock them down. You do what GWS took out and you play them extra, them wingers to really condense it. You slow it down. Can they win? I don't know. And for me, that's a question mark on Brisbane. And they are one of them sides that I think are the lower echelon of the best. I am really happy to do this. 6 St Kilda. They could even be higher. I'm starting to look at their injury list now. Their injury list is looking like one of them heritage sites in the UK after a big natural disaster. It is mental. There is so many names, but they keep on doing it. They were very impressive this weekend. Ross, the boss, the fact he's layered the basics. I am a sucker for basics done well. They're going to be tough to beat. We've got them in a couple of weeks. It's going to be hard to break down. You look at them and they're a side that are going to be tough to break down. You know you can do, and I'm going to wait until we see them play a really good side. But for me, they have impressed me more than the better teams. Then, 5th, Richmond. Media nonsense with Carlton, Richmond and Collingwood. Other sides getting their love. Look at who they've played. They were very impressive against Collingwood in the fact that they had major outs and they made it ugly like GWS did to us. Smart coaching. That will beat teams 9 times out of 10. That was an incredible performance by Collingwood to put them away. Because when Dimmer does stuff like that, very Riley side to beat. Richmond are ominous for me. Ominously placed. The Pretenders. Going to get this out of the way now. I love Sydney. All right. They were my pick to win it last year. Right. Fell off them a bit after the final. They've impressed me. They've come back. But who have they beat? They came against, in my opinion, a gone out of Melbourne makes Melbourne probably a mid-8 side. I think them two together is where it's at. I thought Melbourne beat them at ease. And I think that is my question with Sydney. When they play one of the bigger Melbourne sides, when they're in the zone, can they do it? And that is my question on them. I still think they're a top tier side. They can hurt you in many ways. But for me, they're 4th, just on who they've played. The percentage is impressive, but who have they played? In at 3rd of the Blues. Let me get excited about the Blues, right? This time last year, right? No, sorry, the bye last year, the criticism of my football club was, you shit, you're only good inside in the contest. All this nonsense, right? Carlton, one of the bigger scoring sides this year from turnover, which I think is a massive, massive plus. That was one of the things that Gary said that Carlton can't do, and ergo aren't very good. We've got better at that. And I think the biggest thing, the biggest 2 improvers will come onto them when we talk about them are Carlton. Do you know what I mean? The fact that I think you've started to see these layers, the points from turnover, top 6, the points against, we're now the 5th most rigid side. Do you know what I mean? The differential top 4 from turnovers. These are the areas that everyone said we were poor. Now, the big thing at the moment is ball movement. Carlton, to do that, have become more rigid. And I saw on the couch, defending ball movement. Carlton were top 8 last year for this. They're now 16th. Ridiculous notion. because one of the ball movement metrics we were taken away in the first, and in the third, GWS didn't allow us to play it. We had to find another way to skin a cat. Cowan are winning close games, which is what you criticise Collingwood for. We're now doing that. Cowan are, honestly, I know I'm a blue, but let's be having it right. The Baggers have got better. They're 6 out of 10 at the minute, and they're -2 what they were last year, when this time last year it was hard for me to do a video with clothes on. So Carlton are the third best side on the power rankings. In at 2, Melbourne Demons. The only game they lost doesn't count. They lost Gorn halfway through it. They would have won that game if he was there. Mark my words. Mark my words. Melbourne are a threat. Let's deal with it. And the fact that they've had the week to work Grundy around, we saw it last week how sensational he was against a very tough outfit. They're a danger. Melbourne are one of the best sides of the comp. They're going to be there or thereabouts. One of the teams to beat. And in at number 1, got to give them credit where the credit's due. Collingwood. Contested ball. They bought the best contested player probably after the last decade. They're suddenly good at it. It's a fucking complicated game, this, isn't it? Fair play to Collingwood, man. I love it as well because I can't wait to play these guys because I think both of these sides now, my team and their team, are playing sexy football when it all comes together. And I can't wait to see 2 great historical sides go head-to-head in games that matter again. It's exciting for the AFL. And I love the fact Melbourne and Richmond are up there with us. And hopefully we see Essendon start to prop up as well and come to the table. I think that's a very exciting proposition for us all. And we want to see strong Western Australian clubs and strong South Australian clubs. We love these rivalries. I'm excited. They are a very good side, though. Let's be having it right. And they are probably on paper at the moment 1 tough victory against Richmond and 2 demolition jobs. They're the team to beat. It's fair. It's fair. And I tried to be biased, but I think that's a fair ranking. Give me your 1 to 18. Do you think I've been harsh on your club? If I have, I do apologise. It is just my opinion. They are like bumholes. Everyone has them. So I'm sorry if I've upset you. Don't take it too serious, though, because there's nothing as important as football, but it is quite as important. Look after yourself. Be back tomorrow with regular content. Muchas gracias. Can't wait to do the preview. Stay tuned for the preview. We've got some special guests for Geelong. We've got some ultra special guests for Hawthorn. Some great mates of mine. Can't wait to do the previews with them. That is our feature game, Easter Monday. And we've got the preview for Carlton North coming tomorrow. Until next time, look after yourself. Muchas gracias. Bomb out.